Happy Friday. That's always great news. You made it through another week. And if for those of you that are starting a vacation, bravo. I'm happy for you. Truly am. If you're a Warriors fan, I wish I could sit here and tell you things are great, that you're going into a weekend, with your team on fire, smoking, championship contender. But alas, reality sometimes blows. And when it comes to the Warriors, things are not great. So we're going to talk about it. There's a couple sound bites from last night's game that I did not get to. One was borderline glaring from Draymond Green, who's suddenly getting a lot of attention in regards to the malaise and the issues with this Warriors team. And then there's Wardell, Stephen Curry, who admits things aren't going well right now. How can they get right? There are obvious answers, starting with replacing the head coach. But whether ownership is afraid of that, who knows what's going on with Joe Lacob in terms of how he feels, whether he has the balls to take any action. Nonetheless, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of breakdown. The professor, Armando Lara, will join me in just a moment to provide his takes. They're always fascinating, oftentimes accurate, and we'll try to have some fun, even when times aren't going so well for your Warriors, and maybe otherwise, who knows? But again, we'll try to have some laughs, try to inform you a little bit, talk about your dubs, preview the Warriors and the Suns. They play at Chase Center tomorrow night. I haven't looked at the line yet. I'm going to guess, courtesy of FanDuel, that the Warriors will be favored by 4.5. That is I swear on my dog's life. I hope you know that when I say that, I'm being serious, that I have not seen the line. I'm totally guessing Warriors minus 4.5. Let's find out. We're powered by FanDuel. The professor's joining us in moments here on Golden Days. Let's go. Welcome to the program. It's called Golden Days. I'm your host for the afternoon, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at Dog Wild. Over on Twitter, my handle is @SurfJournalist. The program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Before we get into it in terms of content, again, the professor is going to join us in just a moment. Let's give some love to our title sponsor, FanDuel, who's the official sportsbook of both Golden Days and the Believe Network, which we're proud to be a part of. We're the official Golden State Warriors program on that illustrious network. And FanDuel, in terms of the line for tomorrow's Warriors-Suns game, I guessed 4.5. What the actual line is, I was off by 1 point. The Warriors are favored by 5.5 points at home. If you feel like the Warriors slide is going to continue, oh boy, let's hope that doesn't happen. And you think the Suns are going to start a winning streak on your Golden State Warriors. The money line for the upset is plus 180. The OU for that game, the over-under, 227.5. Again, courtesy of FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Golden Days. And again, the professor, Armando Lara, is going to join us in just a second. G4M saying don't listen to FanDuel. Look, all FanDuel is doing is setting a line. In case you folks aren't familiar with the sports gambling world and how it works exactly, the bookies, their entire goal with these lines is to set it up so there's equal betting on both sides. If they achieve that goal, they're making money from the VIG, from the little juice that you got to kick up to the sports book for going out of their way to host a sportsbook operation. That's all they're trying to do. And oftentimes they're setting those lines based on public perception and not on reality necessarily, which is why you'll usually see LA Lakers lines, hell, any team that LeBron's on, the lines for that team skewed in one way or another. 4.5, 5, and I guess 4.5, it was 5.5. That doesn't really mean anything in terms of how FanDuel feels about it. Devil in Limbo is asking, do a live reaction to the current Tom interview with Curry. You're referring to Tom Tolbert. Played a little clip about that on last night's show. I can tell you this. between last night and today, a lot in my life, and I don't mean to make this show about me at all. That's never the goal here. It's the Warriors. But last night I heard some news that was distressing to me regarding someone who I consider a dear friend, who I go back 25 years with, and it had to do with Tom Tolbert, who also was his former producer, and some words exchanged on his program with my name being thrown in there, and that riled me up a little bit. So I did some digging, had a very long phone conversation earlier today to make peace. Communication is vital. If there's one thing I'm really coming to a realization of, more and more so by the day, it doesn't stop. Like, this reality does not at a certain point settle and then you just accept it for what it is. No, it just keeps this realization, these facts, what I'm learning, it just keeps coming in waves. And that realization is this feckless local media scene, they care a lot more about not upsetting you, the public, than they do about reporting the truth. Steve Kerr is protected by this ridiculously pathetic media scene. And I bring all that up because that dude right there is a huge part of it. That's what I'm coming to the realization of. Tom Tolbert and Steve Kerr are very close friends. They're like borderline best friends. And Tolbert has a shitload of influence, despite the fact that he is aloof as F. He never gave a shit about anyone he worked with or who worked for him. I don't have a very, very favorable opinion of that man for good reason. And if he wants to have a conversation with me about it, door is open. But I guarantee that man will run away from anything that even resembles a semblance of conflict. He's going to run. He's not going to double down and square up. But he's a huge part of the problem. So the next time you go to Tom Tolbert for Steve Kerr analysis, just know that you're hearing it from one of his best buds, his former teammate at the University of Arizona. And birds of a feather, man. What I mean by that is that crew, that Arizona crew, not a racial thing, please don't take it as such, much more of like a generational, like clique type of thing. Like, those guys stick together, man. And they all think they're cool, the coolest kids in the room. They all think they're stars, even though the only star among all of them in terms of who they played with was Michael Jordan, maybe Chris Mullin, maybe Tim Hardaway and Mitch Richmond. Kerr and Tolbert weren't stars. You're role players. Give me a break on that stuff. Did you make the NBA? Yeah, congrats. But Kerr's 6'3", Tolbert 6'5", 6'6". Give me that height. I'm an effing Hall of Famer, man. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. That's basketball. Size matters. You hear that from me repeatedly. Anyways, but enough with the Bay Area media crap. We're going to talk Warriors here. And as we wait for Armando to check in, he's late. Armando, get here pronto, please. People don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from you. It's Happy Hour Friday. Let's get some sound. And I want to start first with, before I play the Draymond and Steph sound bites from last night, let's hear from Shams Charania first and foremost, because he was on ESPN today and he gave us, I don't know if it's an update, but he, gave sort of a synopsis of where the Warriors are right now. And then I'm going to follow that up with another report that I'll tell you myself from Anthony Slater, because I think he said it on a podcast. I could not find where that was exactly, but Slater dropping some information as well. But let's start first with, again, Shams Charania, who was on NBA Today talking about your Golden State Warriors and what the next steps are. Friendly reminder, Jonathan Kuminga is available for trade on January 15th. Shams does talk about that, and let's hear from him. Here's Shams Charania, again, on ESPN earlier today. More specifically, the program is NBA Today, talking about your Golden State Warriors, who are 4-6 in their last 10 games, as you see on that graphic, and suffering a 3-game losing streak.
Across the board with the Warriors. Joe Lacob, obviously, with ownership, front office, coaches, players, because internally, my understanding is the Warriors projected this team to win 50 or more games this season. They felt like the big three of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler was enough to propel this team. But what we've seen is underperformances across the roster, inconsistencies with roles. Steve Kerr has been very public about the fact that he's had issues with the non-Steph Curry minutes, specifically running the offense through Jimmy Butler. That's been a massive issue for the Warriors. And Jonathan Kuminga has basically been banished over the last week of this season. He's been out of the rotation, and the relationship is exactly where it was in the summer. This is a divorce waiting to happen. the essence of it. And January 15th is going to be a big date, not only for the Warriors, but the NBA, but specifically the Warriors, because that's when Jonathan Kuminga is eligible to be traded. And there's frustration across the board with the Warriors. Joe Lacob, obviously, with ownership.
Saying that basically what he's insinuating there is that January 15th is Jonathan Kuminga trade day. That's the gist that I got from that soundbite. And again, it begs a bigger question. Is that what Joe Lacob wants to do? What's the future of Steve Kerr? Because any decision to mortgage the future, I think, relies and depends heavily on the future of this inept head coach. Sorry, obtuse and inept. And what Anthony Slater said today, and I always take every one of these pieces of information with a grain of salt, because to the best of my knowledge, Joe Lacob is not revealing his cards. Mike Dunleavy Jr., to the best of my knowledge, is not revealing his cards, meaning they're not telling media members off the record what their big plans are. So most of this information you're getting from Shams and from Slater is based off their conversations primarily with either player agents or Steve Kerr. And again, I don't know what Kerr's future is with the Warriors. If Joe Lacob is dumb enough to keep him around long term and make decisions under the premise that Kerr is just magically going to figure shit out, good luck with that. That means just more months and maybe years of just incompetency, of just mediocre basketball. Now, what Slater said, oh, I see the professor now. I'm going to bring him on right after they say that drop this nugget from Slater. Anthony Slater reported that Joe Lacob and Stephen Curry are expected to meet in the next month or so. And I can't remember if we used the word meeting or meetings plural, to discuss the possibility of trading future first round picks to help the Warriors now. And on that note, we welcome the producer, Armando Lara. Better late than never. Are you this late for your sociology classes at Berkeley? How you doing, man? Great to see you, brother. Let me update my overlay here so it's accurate. Is that it? No. Where are you, brother? Which one is Friday Happy Hour? There we go. We got Friday Happy Hour in check. Armando Lara. People can follow you on Threads at Mando_man10. You host Sprewell Was Right on YouTube. You're a professor. Are you tenured or are you tenure track?
Tenured, yeah.
Oh my God, look at you. A tenured professor at one of the most prestigious universities in the world, UC Berkeley. Great to see you, brother. First of all, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. It's been a little while, chat. We got much to discuss, and I'm happy to see some familiar faces in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Are the haters here? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I want to see you guys.
Well, Armando, I don't know if this will shock you or not, but the haters, that crowd is dissipating, man. Like, I don't know what they have to say. I mean, because the haters are primarily Steve Kerr apologists. And what are you going to apologize for at this point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. They were out in full force after that amazing franchise-altering win against the Chicago Bulls, and they spent 5 days reveling in Steve Kerr and Tim Cavalcami's media tour about how great Steve Kerr's system was. What a pathetic joke, dude. What a pathetic joke.
By the way, your laugh right there was sinister, and I mean that with the absolute respect it deserves. That was an incredible laugh. That deserves Adam Sandler commenting.
Oh my God, that is funny.
Yeah, that was worthy. The Steve Kerr system. Well, dude, where have you been, man? Like, welcome back. We missed you last week. Are you doing better? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. Thanks for understanding last week.
Of course.
I don't get paid for this stuff, chat, and I don't want to be. I want to.
I hope we get there. So that's why I solicit for sponsors, Armando, because I want to pay you. I want to get Rick Barry back on a weekly basis, not just once or twice a month. Like we need some local sponsorships, and it's usually not this difficult to get them. This is how I know we're in a very deep recession. You teach sociological economics, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like all the labor data that we usually rely on to determine if we're in a recession, how deep the recession is, all those numbers are being manipulated. The reports are being delayed. We have someone in charge who a lot of actions representing more of a fascist dictator than a man representing a democracy. That I'll stop being political there. But my point is, in your opinion, how bad is the economy real fast?
Oh, it's much like the Warriors. The narrative has not caught up to the underlying fundamental problem that needs to change. So it's coming though. It's certainly coming. They're definitely cooking the books over there, just like they're doing in Warriors land. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, and the books can't cover how people feel, right? So there's only so much manipulation can get you. But my point is, yeah, if you want to, if you're interested, if you're a business or an organization doing okay right now, more power to you. Let's expand your growth. Sponsor us. Email us if you're interested, warriors24pod@gmail.com. Again, warriors24pod@gmail.com. I do want to pay this man, and I also want to pay Rick and maybe one other weekly guest. Let's make that happen, please. Armando, the Warriors are 13-15. Looking at the schedule last night, and maybe more specifically the standings, that was some depressing shit. Like, I did not know how bad it was until I saw the Memphis Grizzlies with a half-game lead over the Warriors, and Portland is just a game and a half back. It ain't looking good. What are your thoughts on all this, and especially in the last 2 weeks?
Nobody likes the asshole that just says "I told you so." You don't like it when boomers do that. So I'll refrain from doing that. But I fucking told you so. And you know what? They're fucking lucky to be this close to 500. They're so damn lucky to be this close to 500. This season, it is just deja vu. Like, it's playing out exactly the way it did last year. I don't know what people are surprised. And it's a total dereliction of duty. It's a dereliction of duty. Not only should Steve Kerr be fired, but the person who's holding this whole thing up is Steph Curry. And the thing is, Mike Dunleavy Jr., it's an absolute travesty what he did with Al Horford. I mean, it's like he's got to go too. There's no confidence there because that shit was easy to see. All you had to do was watch the Celtics playoff game. I've been talking about that all thing. They somehow talked themselves into thinking those 20 games last year or whatever 30 games that they were like a championship club, and all they just needed to do was get Al Horford to unlock it and one Kuminga trade, role player trade to somehow get over the top. No. It was obvious then when they were winning all those games. Those teams weren't just tanking. They were trying to get Cooper flagged. It was obvious. I don't know what they saw. Total dereliction of duty. Draymond knows. Jimmy Butler knows. The man who's holding it up is Steph Curry. They know what needs to change. And it is absolutely pathetic. And it's to the point where I actually think there's a power struggle being played out on the court. It ain't even about winning right now. Like the coach, to me, I wonder if the coach is trying to force him into a promotion where he gets a consultant fee for the Warriors as like a Jerry West consultant. Like literally he wants to take the laziness to another level. Like he doesn't just want to be the lazy coach who doesn't actually coach and change the system or do anything or prepare his team for anything. He actually just wants to be a consultant making $10 million a year. He's trying to pressure them into that. I kind of believe that. That's the only explanation because it's getting beyond the lineup, the strategies they're using. It's beyond loser ball. I mean, it is injury ball. You guys think
injury ball. I like that.
You guys think that they're going to get it together and they're going to have this uptick, and you really think these guys are going to stay healthy? No. I don't think so. Like they're running like it's like, 37-year-old Steph Curry, 50 points a night, 40 points a night. You really think that that's not going to result in a career type injury? I mean, come on, dude. Like it's easy. I'm just a dude sitting on my couch. Like it's easy for us to see this stuff. Like next year, the Warriors are going to be paying Jimmy Butler $50 million a year while he's playing on a minimum, helping another team win a
closer
title.
To 60, by the way, Armando. Sorry to interrupt, but closer to 60 million next
year.
Okay,
but the Warriors are going to be paying him 60 mil while another team is going to be paying him a minimum, and he's going to be helping that other team win because it's buyout time, baby. It's coming. Yeah. And if you are a Warriors fan, woo, baby, we need to get in that lottery, man. I mean, we're going. It's lottery time by default and by curveball. And to be honest, the only difference is, do you want injuries or not? And like, honestly, you know, everybody talks about how Greg Popovich was this great coach. They had 8 years of effing losing, trying to win his way. And they didn't get good until they tanked and tanked and tanked in order to get their draft picks. And now they're in a good position. That's where we're headed. So honestly, if I am a Warriors fan, and they need to get into the lottery right now, and they need to try to get those top 4 picks. I want to be excited about this top 4 picks, and they need to make it happen. So this whole thing you just mentioned about Steph Curry trying to trade draft picks moving forward. What a effing joke. What a effing joke.
Horrible strategy. Horrible strategy. Yeah.
You know, there ain't no trade that's going to help this team. There ain't no Kuminga trade that is out there that's going to help them. You know, the thing is, you guys, do you really think Steve Kerr, whoever they get, I don't care if it's Giannis, do you really think Giannis is going to come in here and somehow save this pathetic system? I don't think so. It'll just be all over again. Oh, why isn't Giannis shooting that well? You know, Giannis is not like a read and react guy. You know, it's just going to be, you guys, you have to, like, the narrative has not caught up with reality. I've been watching this league, the NBA. It's different from baseball. It's different from football.
Very different.
Narratives catch up very quickly to reality in football. If you're not good, it'll catch up to you within a few games. And the NBA, it takes 12 to 18 months for the NBA media and the narrative to catch up with reality in the changing talent level of players. And we're just on the cusp of that. And
unless you watch this show, Armando, unless you watch it,
unless
and
you know,
up to date. But yeah,
unless you know how to watch the game with a fatigue meter in the back of your mind, and you know how hard it is. You know, one thing, Cy, that I've noticed that it just drives me nuts. And you know, if you encounter anybody who says this online, or some stupid media member who says this, some whatever, you know, that if only the role players could hit fourth quarter wide open threes, then the system would be working, and the stars and all the franchise. You guys have heard that, right? If only you know, Quentin Post could hit his wide open threes. If only Moses Moody could hit his wide open threes. Man, that is such loser talk. It is such anemic analysis of basketball. Like, that just immediately tells me that person has no effing clue how the game works. You need to understand. So, like, I'm gonna talk about this Timberwolves game that happened last week.
Hey, well, let's hit the pause button for 1 second on that. You're rolling, but I want to give you a chance to catch your breath and remind people again. You were, and I was saying this on last night's show as well, and I've been saying this a lot, Armando, that you nailed it way before anyone else when it comes to Al Horford, right? Like, you. like I wanted to see it for myself. You didn't need to see it. Like, the moment and side note, we knew Al Horford was going to be a member of the Warriors like months before it happened because of the Jonathan Kuminga standoff this summer. The Warriors couldn't do a damn thing, so it was just speculated. But we had an idea, and the moment that idea was broached, like you and your cousins did your research on Sprewell Was Right and came to a quick conclusion. This ain't going to work out. This is a bad deal. And Armando, in case you're ever curious, like, what the best way is to tell someone that you were right and they were wrong.
How do you tell somebody that you care about deeply? I told you so.
But that was you. Now, a couple questions in the chat before we talk about that Minnesota Timberwolves game that you want to bring up. Man in the chat saying, can the Warriors get Evan Mobley from the Cavaliers? No. There's no chance in hell. I would love it, but there's no chance in hell. Curry.
Shit. Ain't nobody trading the Warriors.
That I brought up last night, Armando, and I'm going to bring it up with you as someone that I think you could stomach, and this player can give you some hope. I just don't know what the asking price is. I'll mention him in a second. But Curry Fleury is asking, what do you think about Mike Malone as a coach? Sign me up. I personally think if you're going to do a midseason swap, which is wishful thinking because, you know, again, Joe Lacob would have to grow some balls to actually get rid of Steve Kerr, even though that's clearly the right move to make here. I would personally, if you're going to do a mid-season change, I'd go with Terry Stotts. Mike Malone's a great name, sure. And if you're going to do it in the off season, my personal preference is Brent Barry. I think he would be an awesome head coach, and he's younger than Mike Malone. very smart guy. You're also, again, the Rick Barry lineage, a Warriors legend. His son is now running the team. Some common sense. Brent's a very smart. I gotta get Brent on the show. I don't know I don't know why I haven't done that yet. I will try and get Brent Barry on the show soon. I do know his dad. Shit. So Curry Flurry, anyways. Armando, would you like Mike Malone as a coach? Do you have any other names that would entice you?
They need to try anyone else that is currently not on the Warriors. I saw Terry Stotts giving Kerr credit after that Bulls game for the system. What a effing joke. He's got to go too. And so does Stackhouse. I don't think so, man. Like, it's really, really bad. It's really, really bad. You playing 3-4 guards. Draymond's being hung out to dry. Jimmy Butler is being guarded by centers. Like, not even looking at the rim. Pass. Everybody in the West knows they're trying to get a Quentin Post or Moses Moody chuck 3. And it's just easy to guard. There's no surprises. Other teams are just resting against us. It's an absolute dereliction of duty. Everybody's got to go. Bring back Mark Jackson. Shit. Good call. Real easy. Anybody.
Well,
anybody.
Armando, I heard
the top 5 players on the team. Anybody.
Absolutely. And I heard adding to the enabling and the kissing of the ass. I'm sorry. Kenny Atkinson. I heard an attribution from him before the Cleveland Cavaliers season started where he said that his experience being an assistant coach on the Warriors was all he needed. It was the final lesson that he needed in order to be a great coach. And now you see Cleveland, like, they're 15-13. They're grossly underachieving, second apron team. Yeah, Kenny Atkinson. I'm sure you took away a lot of great lessons here. And I hope you threw them in the garbage.
You're telling me Kenny Atkinson is good and they can't do shit in the worst league in the the NBA East?
Amazing.
You're telling me Giannis is some great franchise player? They're like a seed losing like crazy in the East.
Not a good look. Like, you're right.
I don't think so. Not going to be able to do it. Get out of here with that.
and then Riz is saying it might be over. What do you think, Armando? I think you spelled it out. You think it's over, right? You don't think there's any hope for this season?
It's been over, man. You guys are it's just catching up, and they have a chance. They definitely have a chance. There's a lot of games left, and it's pretty obvious what needs to happen right now. Another Suns loss. Ooh, those Suns are coming for you guys. Oh my Lord, they smell blood in the water. The Warriors do not have a system that works. Those players know they should not be on the court. They want to be off the court. They don't think they should be playing together. They are overmatched. They know that. You can smell it. And Dylan Brooks, Warriors fans love to hate him, and I understand why. That guy is a motherfucking G. And Memphis, that was a dereliction of duty letting him go for nothing. That guy gets in your face. That guy plays D. That's confidence for a team. You need that in the NBA. And he's coming. He's coming for them on Saturday. And the Warriors might win, but they're gonna have to dig deep. We're talking about hero legend games. It's coming, and it's gonna cost them. And that Christmas game, do you really think Mavericks are just gonna tank that game? It's Christmas. They're gonna play. That we might win that game, but Mavericks are gonna give it their all. Like these games, like this is not. This is the Western Conference is gauntlet that I talked about in August is just getting started. It has to even be done. This is just, and we're not even, like close to being healthy. Like, and you really think we're gonna stay healthy? I don't think so, man. So, it's coming. That Saturday, they lucked out with the Magic because the Franz better than Jonathan Kuminga, quote unquote, but can't shoot and doesn't get play in the playoffs. Wagner, he's injured. And so they got it light on what is that Sunday or Monday or whatever. So they lucked out there, but are they going to be totally gassed from playing a freaking triple overtime game? It's easy. The Suns have now seen the Warriors twice. There's correct. No surprises correct. The Suns. I mean,
what did you think, real quick, about the Dylan Brooks just smack to the gut of Steph? That was a That was crazy, wasn't it? Steph keeling over in just utter pain. That's not a good look for Dylan Brooks. I didn't like that. What did you think?
I think there's no way he does that if there's wings on the court. He's tired. He'll be tired guarding wings, but he can do whatever he wants. He's got energy because he's out there like tracking Podemensky. And, you know, Podemensky shoots 80%. Everybody's happy. It's all good. It don't mean shit. You know, they're letting him shoot. It's like he's going to do that again. I don't think so. And, you know, like that's why he did it. So if you had Kuminga, Moody out there together getting it in, he's not doing that. He ain't doing shit. You know, he's probably in foul trouble if they're out on the court. He's probably not even playing.
That's a good point. No, that's a very good point. And one last thing in the chat I want to address just for a second, because we have one person, D. McGosh, saying, and I can't tell if you're trolling at this point, but I'll address it anyways, because it's a nice reminder for the folks out there who still think Steve Kerr can magically find a solution and magically discover a brain, saying Coach Kerr has 9 rings. I trust him. Friendly reminder, Casey Jones, a name that you may or may not be familiar with, former head coach of the Celtics, was an assistant coach with the Lakers for the Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain title, I believe in 71. And that's relevant because in those days, teams only had 2 coaches total, a head coach and an assistant coach. So Casey Jones gets 4 championships, 4 rings as a coach, 8 more as a player. When he played alongside Bill Russell. Huge surprise he won championships. My point is, some people get a shitload of rings simply by riding coattails. They're just in the right place at the right time. And if you're going to brag about Steve Kerr and those 9 rings, brag about Casey Jones and his 12 rings. And if you're asking yourself, why would I do that? I don't know Casey Jones. Exactly. You don't know Casey Jones because no one talks about Casey Jones because everyone is fully aware he wasn't responsible for Larry Bird's greatness. He wasn't responsible for Bill Russell's greatness. In the same way, Steve Kerr was not responsible for Michael Jordan's greatness, Tim Duncan's greatness, Stephen Curry's greatness. He's just a right place at the right time type of individual, and to sit here and pretend that his 9 rings means anything is laughable. Never mind the fact that when he was as head coach of the Warriors, 2 of those 4 rings came with those KD teams, and you're bragging about that like Steve Kerr did something. And more specifically, look at the last 7 years. It ain't a good look. 7 years of underwhelming, underachieving basketball, man. Armando, anything you want to add to that?
I mean, I get why people think this stuff. It's a pretty there's a little bit of a hipster thing going on in the Bay Area where it becomes smart to not question the coach. Like questioning a coach is somehow anti-intellectual or somehow like it's simpleton. So it's like a little backwards here in Warriors land. So like questioning, refusing to question the coach is somehow the smart position. And it's an absolute joke. Because you're not admitting that 2025 basketball and the way the league has changed, it's night and day from 2022. It's night and day. And it actually changed the next year. And, like playing this small ball nonsense, and I'm not talking about no center position. I'm talking about the 3-4 guards. When other teams play 2 guards together, the entire fan base media is in an uproar. The coach can literally almost get fired from doing that. And we play 3-4 guards. Like there's no world in which this is winning basketball. It's an absolute dereliction of duty. And the owner is just waiting on Curry for the green light. Draymond's keeping his lips shut. He has tacitly, in my opinion, given permission. Mm-hmm. It is waiting for Steph Curry to give the green light. Do you guys think that email that got leaked, that wasn't a leak? Of course, Kerr explained it. That was, oh man.
Laughable explanation.
Kerr, I mean, actually, I give him credit. Kerr is the PR master.
Yes,
He's always been a PR guy, not a basketball guy. That's why he was on the Bulls. He was on the Bulls to make the racist Chicago fans feel good about a team with Rodman and gambling Michael Jordan. I'm serious about that. And he was on the Jailblazers for the exact same reason. And he was on the Spurs, as this like the PR guy. And, it's the same thing with the Peninsula fans right now. And he is a master, an absolute master at this. And I give him credit, he said that was like no big deal. So the way he did that was, he empathized with the media. Like if you guys had your emails leaked, it would look bad. So I'm not worried about that. You're telling me that this billionaire or whatever, with the PR staff they have, didn't purposefully leak that? That was
you're not the first to say that, by the way. We had a lot of people in the chat last night. I think Julian Bashir was chief among them, who was also echoing those sentiments there that Lacob leaked this himself but the sad part of it is if true, that he did it because he's too afraid to confront Kerr personally. Is that what you think as well?
They've definitely confronted him. It's like more like ego stuff, more like they've been fighting this out for years. And if you follow the media along, there's been shots in the media from ownership, GM, and coach for 5 years. So this is just the latest iteration, but it's the most public one. And it is a message to the coach. Like, this is getting unacceptable. People have like goldfish memory, man. Joe Lacob was literally sitting in a media session after the Nuggets Christmas game when he benched Jonathan Kuminga. Do you guys forget? This literally happened. And I seen Joe Lacob walk over to the coach's staff at a halftime Blazers game that year, and when Jonathan Kuminga was going to be DNP, and he got put into the game and saved them, Steve Kerr's ass once again. And Jonathan Kuminga has done that many times, saved Steve Kerr's ass from a lot of losing. And it's pretty funny. At the start of this week, Steve Kerr saying he's going to play Jonathan Kuminga again. And that thing was a message to Steve Kerr. And honestly, that message is not going to go through. It's a hard head. So to me, it's a message to Steph Curry. What's it going to take, man? What is it going to take? You want Warrior fans to give up? Like, the Warriors picks are the best picks in the league. This ship is going down. Like, these picks are worth gold.
And I thought, that's an interesting yet I think very accurate analysis there in terms of the Warriors picks, because what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the expectation around the NBA is that the Warriors are about to be one of the worst teams in the league. And when you're a bad team, your draft picks carry a hell of a lot more value than, say, the San Antonio Spurs, who are at the opposite end of the spectrum, where their picks have been losing value recently because they're going to be a perennial contender for years to come. Now, the good news for the Spurs is they also own a lot of other teams' picks that probably have more value, but their own, these are going to be like mid-high 20s. I mean, that doesn't carry the same weight. Real quick, I want to play this clip one more time. I've played it before on the show, but it's just a good reminder for anyone who's relatively new and doesn't understand the whole Casey Jones comp to Steve Kerr. And I was enlightened by it from Gary Payton, GP2's dad, who said this in an interview about Casey Jones when the Celtics dynasty ended, when Larry Bird's back started going out, they moved on. Right. They made a coaching change. Casey Jones wanted to keep coaching. The Seattle Supersonics hired him, and that did not go over well because Casey Jones inherited a team that was young, inherited a team that needed actual coaching and not just someone who's managing egos, which seems to be Steve Kerr's primary a skill set as a coach, is just making sure things are copacetic. But when it comes to actual coaching, you don't see much of that from Kerr, and you didn't see much of that from Casey Jones. And just pay attention to Gary Payton's words, because you're going to hear a striking similarity, a remarkable semblance to what the Warriors are dealing with now in terms of their young players and Steve Kerr.
Okay, so you're playing for the Supersonics. First 2 years, a little bit rough. And, the coach is Casey Jones.
Right.
Who is a great coach. Let's just put it out there. He won 11 out of 12 NBA championships, 8 as a player, 3 as a coach. But I guess you went, to the owner and said that you want a new coach.
No, what happened is that they were going to trade me. And then the ownership did this. They said, okay, we don't know why you and Sean are not getting better. So they pulled us in. And as you got to understand, Vlad, when you got a coach who has won 8 championships as a player and 3 as a coach, you ask why. The reason why is because the Boston Celtics had great teams. And he coached Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Danny Ainge, M.L. Carr, people like that who were already established. So you didn't have to have young players when that was when the generation was changing in basketball, in NBA. You didn't have all the old school Magic Johnson, Kareem, all that stuff where you could just go and sit down and Magic would take over the game. Or Bird, here, just had the ball. Right. You didn't have that. So we were fresh. And when we were fresh, he didn't know how to relate to that. You know what I'm saying? He was used to getting older guys, just giving the ball, and we didn't know how to play the game. So you had to teach us the game. And when you got to teach us the game, it's a different story. And he just didn't have that in us. And we just needed a new guidance. It was nothing against Casey Jones. It was just that we needed a coach that can guide us. And he wasn't that type of coach to guide us.
And we'll stop there. And I don't know what sounds more identical to the Warriors situation than that. A team that's on the verge of trading their young pieces, a team whose coach just does not know how to guide these young pieces. Steve Kerr is just not the right guy for this anymore. Armando, what are your thoughts on that? I don't know if you've seen that before. I'm guessing you have, but
you were the first person to make that link, and that was a great episode. I mean, I really learned a lot from that episode. I think you did that like in September, maybe. It
was some months back. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. No, it's great. You know, people like, do you realize Phil Jackson got run out of town?
Yeah.
This is an extremely unique situation. That's
true.
It's impossible to critique a human being in a decision-making power. That there's a system in place that no one is allowed to say anything negative about someone who controls things. And if anybody says anything negative, like, who are we going to blame? Who's to blame next? Like, Jimmy, Kuminga's not even playing. Is it going to be Jimmy Butler? Is it going to be Draymond? Draymond is like, who's going to be playing? Steve Kerr is hoping for a Steph Curry injury. Like, that's the scapegoat. That's why I'm telling you guys that this is injury ball. There's no way out for this guy, dude. Like, this is it's some of the worst coaching I've ever seen. It's so much worse than the last 3 years. It's so much worse than the Anthony Lamb stuff, like times 10. And it's so much worse than playing Klay Thompson 35 minutes a game when he doesn't belong on a winning team anymore. And playing him at power forward, it's so much worse. Podziemski played the entire fourth last night. And
did he really all 12?
They've been playing 4-on-5 with him for the last 2 years. And it is so sad. I mean, I want to talk about that Minnesota game because it was really instructive to me, like what's going on with these guys. But yeah, I don't want to go on too much. Sorry.
Well, let's speak. You brought up Draymond Green's name a moment ago, and I got a couple sound bites from last night's game that I didn't get to last night. From what I've scoured on the socials, Sam Gordon of the San Francisco Chronicle was the only one who actually published these clips. Otherwise, you could only read it in text. And I want to play these for you. And again, they came kind of late. I missed these last night. Sam Gordon, first up, published this clip of Draymond Green, which was fascinating because the clip primarily, as you're going to see, and if you're listening to the podcast, I think the audio will be good enough for you. Draymond is scouring the box score to see what went wrong from that perspective. He obviously was playing himself at 5 turnovers. Was it 5, right? I don't have my box score in front of me, but he had a grip of them. I think it was 5. And just not a good game. It was not a good game for Draymond Green. And his name is talking about scapegoats. I feel like Draymond's name is starting to pop up more and more in terms of fans just being frustrated, wanting some change. Maybe he needs to go to the bench. I don't know. But Draymond, after the game last night, I felt like his comments were interesting in terms of his attitude and what he pointed out on the box score himself. So here is Draymond Green following last night's loss in Phoenix.
What stands out looking at that box score?
A lot of things.
Anything in particular?
Shot 38% from the field, 28 from three. 20 turnovers, 30 points off turnovers. Yeah, a lot of things stand out. Rebounded the ball. Also gave up a lot of offensive rebounds.
What do you think the turnovers specifically keep popping up?
I don't know. If I had the answers, I'd change it.
I mean, you had 5 turnovers tonight. Steve mentioned you might be trying too hard. Like, where do you feel like your offensive game is at right now?
I'm just gonna throw the pass when I know it's there. Instead of second guessing and I'm a great fucking passer. So I'm just gonna, if I see the pass there, I'm not second guessing, I'm just gonna throw it. I turn it over. But I'm a great passer, so I won't second guess my pass. I'm just gonna throw it when I know it's there.
Have you been second guessing passes recently?
I'm just gonna pass it.
That was interesting. I didn't hear that end part. This was the first time I heard that. Draymond Green saying he's a great effing passer. He doesn't second guess himself. Armand, that was fascinating. That doesn't look like a happy man, clearly. And Draymond went ahead and hosted a podcast either last night or this morning. I'll play a clip or two from that in a second. But Armando, your reaction to Draymond being all introspective there for a little bit, looking at the box score, pointing out the turnovers, the three-point shooting, and then pushing back against Steve Kerr's comments that Dre's forcing things by saying he's not going to second guess himself and he's a great effing passer. Armando, your thoughts?
Draymond Green is being hung out to dry, and he knows that these lineups are dog shit, that playing with 3-4 guards, that, 3-4 connectors that do not want to chuck it, that the rest of the league is looking at their lineups and laughing and just walking up and just shooting it, and they don't have to try hard at all. And he's absolutely right. He has to play his game. Draymond is an absolute point guard legend, and he is a legend. And the thing is, the other team is not worried at all about those 3-4 guards they play, and they just overplay it. And he's passing. It's pass. And the ball is trying to find him for a wide open 3. And, he's able to hit them in the first quarter because his legs are fresh, but then he gets tired playing defense with his 3-4 guards. By the fourth, he's not able to knock them down. And yeah, no shit, there's going to be turnovers because of the lineups. It ain't his fault. That is, and today on his podcast, he said that, it came out as defending Steve Kerr, but I don't read it that way. He said, I don't know if you can find it, Cy, but he said, people do want consistency, and that is on the coaching staff. But if it's not working, you have to keep trying new stuff until it works. The thing is, Steve Kerr, his system is Steph Curry, get Steph open for 50 points and then just change the lineups around it, throw it at the wall, and let's play that system and keep doing it until we find some winning formula. And the thing is, the system is broken. The system is dog shit. Nobody in 2025 is being surprised by the system anymore. There's no innovation.
Yeah.
And, he knows that shit. He's being hung out to dry. And is it a matter of time before Draymond Green is the scapegoat here? Is it? What is it going to take for Steve Kerr to actually move the target man. Who is the next Kerr scapegoat? Who is it? It ain't gonna be Pods. So who is it? Draymond to me is speaking very loudly in the media, very loudly. And if you know how to read between the lines, I think he gets what's going on.
I would agree. And G4M in the chat. I didn't see this and I tried to find it, but enough people said it for me to believe it. G4M, I trust you here, who writes that Draymond waved Kerr off last night. I don't know. And again, I didn't see it myself, so I don't know the context of the situation. Like, I don't know if it was in the middle of a play. I don't know if Kerr was trying to sub him out and he was like, F you, I'm not coming out. Did you see that specific play where
I didn't, but I'm just thinking out loud here, chat. Like, that tells me, like, this is the third contradiction with the coach. Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green were in the media saying that defense was the main problem. They got to have guys out there that could play D. And the coach was out there saying defense doesn't matter. It's all their offense. And now he's talking about consistency. And now we got waving off the coach. And, I'm just thinking out loud, but I'm connecting the dots here. Like, he knows what's up, man. He knows what needs to happen. Like, dude, are you going to play the guys, the wings that are the hidden wing lineup that is on this team? They never play together. The wings have not played together at all. It hasn't even been tried. Like,
you know what's crazy, Armando? Like, the Warriors could roll out a 5-player lineup that does not have Stephen Curry. And this 5-player lineup could be, let's say, Dre, Butler, Kuminga, Will Richard, who's getting these inexplicable DNPs. And then that fifth guy could be D'Anthony Melton, who, even though he had a bad night last night, I still have a lot of faith in. That fifth guy could be Moses Moody, who had a bad shooting night, but at least defensively, he's going to give you a lot. And when those threes are falling, it's awesome. They have this army, and I feel Guy Santos could be your fifth guy. Guy Santos has the skill set not to be an elite point guard, but he can handle bringing the ball up and initiating a motion offense that typically does not require ball handling anyways, which begs another question of why Kerr keeps emphasizing that as a vitally needed and important skill set. The system does not require it. Klay Thompson, what did he do? Dribble 11 times the night he scored 60 points. Like, that's where the ball handling thing is always lost on me. But my point is, they have talent on this team where you could roll it out and just cream the opposition. The way this roster is constructed, you can beat teams bullying them. You could beat teams by by out physicaling. That's not a word, but you get what I'm saying. Them, yeah. There is enough talent, but Kerr he's all about like his faves. He's one of the Steve Kerr, and I've said this before, and I'm sorry for being redundant here, but he reminds me of the typical bad boss, the typical awful boss, like the boss who has power and knows it, lets you feel it, reminds you of it. The boss who has his favorites, right? And maybe even worse than that, not explaining why these specific individuals are his favorites, at least not with specific detail, and holds your career back without telling you why, right? You're a bad fit. Time isn't right. Like, just using all these bullshit excuses that have zero specificity to it. Steve Kerr reminds me of that kind of boss, and it drives me insane. I don't like him as a leader or as a manager of men. Certainly not anymore. And the way he handles the young players to me is egregious. Let's hear one more Dre cut. This was from his show, the Draymond Green show. I don't know if he uploaded or recorded this last night when he got back home from the flight. I don't know if he did it today, but it's out there. And Dre talks in this brief clip from the Draymond Green show about the team's current situation.
Someone asked me the other night, they were like, yo, you guys need to build some consistency, this, that, and the other. And I was like, yeah, for sure. But we haven't consistently been good. You build consistency with something that's working. If it's not working, you don't keep doing the same thing. You try to find what's working, what's going to work. And until then, you're tweaking things. And so I see people like, oh, man, Steve need to build consistency. For sure. Of course. Absolutely. Everyone wants consistency. But you don't want consistent. You want to be consistently getting better. And if you're not, you're making changes to try to make that happen.
Well, and that almost sounded like a defensive Kerr. What'd you think about that? I didn't like that cut.
No, that's the one I referred to where it gets read as a defensive Kerr. And but to me, it's we keep trying the same thing. We need to change it up. What's the common denominator in the last 4 years? It's Steve Kerr's system. So to me, if I read it between the lines, that's actually not in defense of Kerr. He's just trying to not create controversy. These guys know what they're doing. It is a message. You know, Steve Kerr does not communicate. They don't communicate about this stuff. Like they don't communicate. Everybody thinks they're talking all the time. No, I don't think so. Not going to be able to do it. These guys are going home to their families. You know, and actually, as a side note, you know, the schedule's soft during Christmas and right after Christmas. Our guys are in their late 30s with little kids. You really think they're going to be up for this? Let's see about it. Let's see if they're going to get it in for 35 minutes to win these games after Christmas. Not going to be able to do it. I don't think so.
Boy. Just that guy, $5 donation. Thank you, sir. Saying, Armando, this is a question for you, Armando. I'm out of this. Saying, Armando, do you think Mike Malone would be a good fit for the Warriors, or should the Warriors go with I don't know what a BU face is, like Brent Barry? Your thoughts, Armando?
I don't know about Mike Malone because I've never seen him coach. He's never had to coach. You got a player like that, you know, we don't know. We don't know what you're about. I didn't know what Steve Kerr was about until 2023 when he had to coach. You know, it's like you got a player, you got a top 5 player, you know. It ain't like that. This is the NBA. Like, we don't know shit about Mike Malone. Don't get fooled by narratives. Don't be like, oh, we got to hire a big name. Like, you got to identify a guy that did more with less talent in the college or in the NBA. Like, it ain't, you know, are we really the New York Knicks or the Lakers that we're just gonna get the next big name? You know, I don't think so. It ain't like that. This is, you know, and it's a dereliction of duty. Like they signed the coach's son.
I know.
Like that. Can you imagine? I know I went off about this on how ridiculous that was. It ain't just because it's not fair. That's not what I'm talking about. And I went off on this in July. Like, that tells me they're not serious. Like, they're not. It's not about winning. And they were talking about this on the Gilbert Arenas show. It ain't like that. Like, this is a power play, they're trying to win in the middle of a power struggle. It ain't a collective enterprise. It's not. Franchises that win in modern sports are on the same page from top to bottom, from ownership to the best player. They're all on the same page about what needs to happen. And there has been a power struggle in this franchise for the last 5 years. A GM was literally left because he was losing that power struggle. He literally left. And, like, you know, people think I'm making this shit up. The owner literally said it in a leaked email this week. It ain't just me. I'm just the one who's been saying it because I can see it from my effing couch. And, you know, like, it's like, if you're a Warriors fan, lottery pick, baby. We need it. I want it. Let's get to that top 4. I don't want to be shitty for the next 8 years. It's time to have some fun in June. Let's go. You know, it's yep.
You're being too logical, Armando. It's the sports world. I'm sorry, the NBA more specifically. They can't handle logic. That's too much. I'm guessing you're going to get pushback on that largely because, again, you're making sense, and that's not how the Warriors roll.
Do you know how fun it is to get ready for the draft, Cyrus? Like, to actually decide if we have the number 1 pick.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That is like the funnest shit. And as a Warriors fan, like, man, oh boy, June was our funnest. I mean, we fuck it up every year, but excuse my language. Like,
maybe, or maybe we F it up, or maybe the Warriors F it up because it doesn't matter who they draft. The coach is just gonna bungle that situation. And again, in the chat, they call me NSRV. Is this a dark bloomer saying congrats on hitting 5,000 subs? Thank you. We did this about a week and a half ago, and we're still going. We're nowhere near a peak, and I promise you that. And I bring this up besides the fact that it's nice to acknowledge it. We're building something here, and I'm proud, man. And Armando's a part of this. Every guest is a part of this. The audience is a part of this. Thank you. And I bring this up as well, though, because I feel like we would have hit 5,000 2-3 months ago if it wasn't for this disastrous offseason that was just it was the exact equivalent of a lockout. Like, if the NBA had a lockout, you would have nothing to talk about. The only content you'd be getting are player podcasts, I'm guessing. And because what else are you going to be discussing? All camps would be closed. Facilities would be closed. There's no drafts. There's nothing. And that's what the Warriors were this whole offseason, just nothing. And that included the draft. They did not have a first-round pick this year. They gave that up for Jimmy Butler. And whether or not that was a good decision remains to be seen. But nonetheless, yeah, we missed out. And you're right, man. When you're talking about drafts and you're talking about especially lottery picks, oh, man, that's some fun shit, dude. You can spend like a month plus bringing great guests on who actually study this shit, mock drafts. So I'm with you.
So, they're in this 2015 Kobe Bryant era this year. Like, just keep cashing the checks, and I think what Lacob is waiting for is for the ratings to dip. I don't
know what he's waiting for.
Honestly, like Steph Curry, like
I don't know.
If he's holding the purse strings like that, but if Warriors fans like this is loser ball. They're losing to bad teams. They're not winning no championship, man. Like. And championship teams blow these teams out. There is a point differential statistic, and we're barely in these games. And if they manage to make the playoffs, I mean, is there literally going to be a death on the court from the amount of fatigue that it takes for these guys to play? Like there was a hamstring injury last year. What's it going to be this year in the first round? I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. By
the way, Armando, dude, if there's going to be a death, I'm going to predict it would be Al Horford, who collapses on the court and RIPs. But that's just sorry. What were you going to say, man? Just the idea, if anyone's going to keel over and suffer and literally like cease living on a basketball court, and you're looking at this 15-man Warriors roster, I think Al Horford would be. Well, what were you going to say, man? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I'm not. That's not going to happen because they're not going to let him on the court. It might happen. So I think they're smart enough. Hopefully that won't happen. I mean, I hope to God, because we support all human beings.
Yeah,
but
and maybe more realistically, first of all, I do think Al Horford's going to see the court again, even though he's out at least.
He's not.
I think,
I said this a month ago. He's not injured. What they're trying to do is build up his strength in his ass. They're trying to build some muscle because he probably hasn't worked out in a long time. Because they know he can't box out, so it's like they know he's not an NBA player, but they're giving it one last shot to like build some strength, and that takes a couple of months. That's what's going on right now. They're making him deadlift.
My God. He is like old. He literally is old. He's just an old man. There was one more. Yeah.
He can't box out. He just gets bumped.
Better question. What can he do? The only thing I can see him doing out there is hitting threes, and that's not consistent. Like some nights,
Al Horford is the best looking man in the NBA, and it's been that way for a while. So
do you laugh when you hear like some media members, or like, I don't hear it from players, but I hear it from me. No, I do hear it from players. So I heard Steph say it the other day, but media members, when they say, hey, look, Al Horford's going to be back soon. The reinforcements are coming. Like, what? Al Horford's your reinforcement? And then, by the way, Seth Curry, I saw him on the injury report for tomorrow's game. I think he's listed as questionable with a glute issue, and maybe that's why he hasn't been playing. But the fact that Stephen Curry and Seth Curry, the OG Splash Brothers, have not played a possession together yet, like, make that make sense. Let's just add that to the list of utterly nonsensical things going on. Like, why is Seth, like, what did Seth do? Like, why is Seth even here? What the hell was the point of bringing him on, man? Like, I don't get that. Any comments? I don't know. I don't mean to.
I mean, I have a separate point I wanted to make, if that's all right.
Make it, please.
One thing we've been thinking about, me and the cousins, like, this shit is just gonna get harder. Like, do you guys really think like we're better than Utah right now, right? Do you really think next year we're gonna be better than Utah? Like, Portland is coming for our ass in the standings right now. Like, do you really, like, it's just gonna get worse and worse. Like, those teams got draft picks. They're getting better. And like, I don't know what this front office and Steph Curry are doing, man. It is an absolute dereliction of duty. It's only going to get worse with this coach. Worse. Injury.
I can't even imagine what next year looks like. I like that's
They're not running this shit back. I don't think so. Not going to be able to do it.
No. How could you? I mean,
his buyout time. Jimmy Butler's buyout is going to be larger than Jonathan Kuminga's contract. That is the light years moment. The death, the funeral part prior of the light years is the moment Jimmy Butler's buyout is bigger than Jonathan Kuminga's contract. That's the funeral pyre.
Yeah, I mean, I'm my mind is still stuck on you talking about next year because I put zero thought into that. I'm looking at this year as like the end of this dynasty. Like, but you're right. Stephen Curry still has another year on his contract. So does Dre. So does Jimmy. I have my prediction for next year is this thing ends kind of like how it did with Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. There was another player I was thinking of that I forgot. Where like Magic Johnson, his final coach was Mike Dunleavy, Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s dad, and they did go to the NBA Finals with Mike Dunleavy, and then Michael Jordan won his first championship, and that was that. Michael Jordan finished his career with Doug Collins with the Wizards. And I don't know, maybe the Warriors go that route, like another head coach who Steph also likes. Maybe they bring Mark Jackson back. That's not going to happen in reality, though. But it would be interesting. I would love Mark Jackson for the young players, certainly. I don't know. My prediction is it's going to be another coach. I cannot see the Steve Kerr thing continuing past this year.
Really
that would shock me. That would shock me.
You know,
I don't know what to do beyond that. Like my guess would be Steph and Dre get a farewell tour, and you hope for the best in terms of staying relevant, but. We're talking about Steph being 39. We're talking about Trey being 37. I don't want to think about that. Let's just move on. That's even too depressing for me. But I want to speak of what's up?
Draymond's got a lot of value in the league right now.
That's true. As a trade asset, you're absolutely right. And I would not be shocked if he gets moved. I know some people think that Steph and Dre are going to be lifers. I don't know if that's
Jimmy Butler has zero value. Can't trade him. The Warriors were the only team in the league willing to sign him to that deal. They were negotiating against themselves, so he's got no value.
He doesn't have a lot.
No one's trading for Kuminga. Like
I will say this, he has value, Armando. Because his contract does expire next year, and for the dollar amount that Jimmy Butler makes, you can trade him for pieces if you attach a pick or two to it. And maybe that's what the conversation is going to be with Stephen Curry, because again, Anthony Slater reported this. Started to repeat what we talked about at the beginning of the show, but Slater saying that Joe Lacob and Stephen Curry, which in and of itself is an interesting facet of this piece, that they're going to meet, and Joe Lacob's going to have a discussion with Steph allegedly about trading future first-round picks that go beyond the Stephen Curry era, meaning we're talking like 2028, 2029, those kinds of picks. And if you're attaching those picks to Jimmy Butler's expiring, you might actually get something back. That's where the value might exist. One player that I'm looking at, like, because I've been studying this landscape to see like just what exactly the Warriors could do. Eric Pincus, who's been a great guest of this program, a salary cap expert for Bleacher Report, he created, and this was entirely a mock trade. Who knows if it's really going to happen? But he came up with an interesting like 8-team trade where the Warriors give up Kuminga and they get back a whole bunch of like various assets. I'm going to look that up so I know exactly what the trade is. It's not a trade that like blows your socks off, but it also makes some sense, and I'll find that right now. But what I wanted to ask you is, in terms of the overall landscape, there's only one player that I see which checks all the boxes, meaning upside is still there. He can make an immediate impact now. He gives you size. I think Steve Kerr would trust giving him heavy minutes, and that's Lauri Markkanen. And the biggest impediment for getting Mike Lowry, is Danny Ainge. Dude's a greedy son of a bitch. Like he's not an easy person to make deals with. Draymond Green talked about a trade that fell through, I think 2 years ago, where the Warriors were trying to get Lauri Markkanen, and apparently the asking price was astronomically high. This was just brought up again recently that Brandon Podziemski was reportedly a holdup in this trade. Whether these reports are true or not, new reports coming out that Podziemski is now on the trading block, meaning the Warriors are no longer glued to him like they were a year or two ago. But I look at Lauri Markkanen, and we can even open up the trade machine right now if we want. And I wouldn't shock me if the Warriors came up with a deal where maybe you even keep Kuminga, but you swap out Jimmy Butler and let's say 2 first-round picks, right? I could maybe see something like that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Lauri Markkanen?
Not good, Cy.
Why?
Lauri is not a center. He can't play center. I don't know why. Team, and he'll be out there on center getting boxed out just like Al Horford is. I don't know why people like don't watch film when they talk about this stuff, like, because he it's not that hard to put a wing on him. Like, it's not a championship move. So you're saying
it's desperate. It would be
it's another desperate trade. 3 years in a row, desperate trades. Like, I don't really get it. Like, the move is the lottery.
I agree with you in the sense that logically that would be the best move. I don't know if Joe Lacob would actually do that, though. The 8-team trade that Eric Pincus proposed, the Warriors would give up Jonathan Kuminga, Trayce Jackson-Davis, and that's it. No picks. And what they'd get back for those two being off the roster is Klay Thompson, Jonathan Isaac. I'm not done. There's more. Day'Ron Sharpe, Garrett Temple, and maybe the most important piece, a 2027 first-round pick from Utah. That's the part. And if you're subscribing to the belief that tanking should be the goal here, I don't hate that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if they trade for Klay Thompson, they're not going to be winning much games.
No, but you're getting a 2027 first rounder that is owned by Utah, and Utah, it depends on how good they're going to be a year from now. But I wouldn't hate that trade. I don't think it moves the needle that much. But if you're giving up on the idea of Kuminga and you're keeping Kerr no matter what, might be a best case scenario. I don't know.
Yeah, get a future pick. Yeah, great. Get another pick, man. I love it. Get another pick. Get a future pick. That's what we need. It's time to look for the future, because this coach is not it, man. It ain't gonna happen. There's no trade that is gonna help Steve Kerr's system. There's no trade. Not even Giannis. I said that earlier. It ain't gonna work. His system don't work in 2025. I mean, people want like me to be positive, but like the system doesn't work in 2025. I don't know. And
then you have people like Boggles, who calls two academics, Armando Lara and yours truly, we're both apparently dumb, despite the fact that we just endlessly provide ample evidence saying that. And what Boggles here is insinuating is that if the Warriors move on from Steve Kerr, they're going to turn into the Sacramento Kings. Are they not the Kings already? I mean, they're just
the Kings aren't that much worse than the Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, what delusion are you in where you think the Warriors are doing amazing right now? Like, have you been watching the last 4 years, the underperforming, the disappointment? Like, yeah, but apparently, it's we're the morons. So, and again, if your example for tanking is the Chicago Bulls, arguably the most inept, poorly run franchise in the entire NBA, and that's saying something. That includes the Kings. The Chicago Bulls have an owner who has never paid the luxury tax. He has a yes man GM who has publicly admitted to being okay with mediocrity, meaning if the Bulls are a 41-41 team, that's okay. There is no fan base in the NBA feel more sorry for outside of Seattle than the Bulls. For 1 minute having the dynasty of Michael Jordan and company, and then you get teased with Derrick Rose and that tragic injury that ruined that. Whatever that could have been, and now for like 10 plus years mediocrity, man. But the point is, the Bulls are a horribly run organization. So if that's your example, try again. Yeah, Armando.
Sorry, can you put that comment back up?
Yeah. Here.
This is the single stupidest comment I've ever seen in my life.
Because didn't the Thunder tank? Didn't the Spurs tank?
The Bulls have never tanked ever. They've never tanked.
In that point, you're right.
This tells me that
They're like a playing team. They're the forever playing team. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
This is what I talked about 2 weeks ago with Fitz uneducating. Like literally, he's so bad he uneducates the Warriors fan base. The Warriors fan base went from the smartest fan base in the league 10 years ago to the dumbest in 10 years. And the only, Fitz is a big reason for that. And they're, being the mediocre 8th to 10th seed, that means you are literally the worst team that's actually trying to win. All the teams below you are tanking. You're the team that's actually trying to win, and you suck ass. That's been the Chicago Bulls for like 30 years, just selling tickets. They've literally never tanked. And, you need to I'm telling you, man, that you got to really dig deep next time you make a comment about the NBA. That was so bad. I cannot believe that.
Can I share with you in the audience my favorite joke that Gary Radnich, who I produced for 3 years, his favorite joke that he loved to share with all of us, and I'll share it with you. This was always a private joke, but who gives a shit? It's 2025. Gary's retired, and and Uncle Gary, if you're out there, you're always welcome to come on the show. He used to always just surprise my weekend X Games show. It was called The Extreme Scene with random call-ins. If Gary ever surprises this program, that would be phenomenal. The joke is Ted Robinson, Greg Papa, and Bob Fitzgerald are all in one room. And the only thing in this room, besides the three individuals, sitting in the middle of the room is a job, a play-by-play job. Who gets the job? Dun-dun-dun. And the insinuation is those three, that's all they cared about. They were the and this was a joke that used to be told in the early 2000s. Wow. And what's fascinating about it is you look at this landscape since then. Ted Robinson was the play-by-play voice of the Niners. He got replaced by Greg Papa, and I'm sure there was a lot of bitter acrimony there with that transition. Greg Papa, who was replaced by Bob Fitzgerald back in the 90s as the Warriors play-by-play guy. Do not pretend that was an acrimonious. And another guy who should probably be mentioned in this as well, the guy who replaced Greg Papa at NBC Sports Bay Area for a tenth of the cost, Bonte Hill. My point is, these guys are just, dude, they all they care about is just themselves. They're just all egomaniacal folks. I
get it. They're trying to get the check, man. I get it. Whatever.
Yeah, at any cost, though. Yeah. It's the any cost part that it's a little cringy. But I say that partly because the chat right now is just, there's a lot of people not saying favorable things about Bob Fitzgerald, but what are you gonna do?
The only team that doesn't need a tank to be successful is the Lakers. That's it. And everybody, the Warriors don't got it like that. And they can think they're a destination all they want, but they're not. And it's coming. It's coming, baby.
Let's hear from Stephen Curry from last night's game, because a lot of there's a few questions in our chat that I highlighted. Well, first of all, Curry Flurry dropped a $1.99. Thank you, sir. Or miss. I think it's sir, but I don't know. Saying, do you think Jimmy Butler will eventually say something? Yes.
He already has. Did you guys see that comment last week when he was talking about trying to keep JK's head up? And he was
of course. Yeah.
He said, you can pull it up. He said, he says JK, I mean, he's literally, he's being played at the 5. I mean, would I want to be played at the 5? But I give to JK's credit. He's trying to figure it out and do well playing at center. And it's if you read between the lines on that, it's the coach is playing this 6'6" shooting guard at center.
Yeah.
And it's an absolute travesty, man. And so I don't know, is he going to call him out directly? I guess I would gamble on not, because the coach just has this weird control. I don't really get it, man. I don't get
I
it.
don't. It is again, man. I'm literally experiencing relationships with other professionals I've known for decades fraying because they would rather protect Steve Kerr than come out publicly and criticize him.
Yep.
And that's never how I'm going to roll. And it's mind-boggling, man. It's a cult of personality. I've said this before. Every time you're in Steve Kerr's presence, the dude has next level charm. I always think, like, to me, the most atypical example of Steve Kerr's cult of personality is Joseph Smith, the founder of the Mormon religion. Very similar premise, man. The guy just kept convincing people that, prophets were talking to him. He eventually finagled an added amendment to get extra wives to avoid getting in trouble for cheating. And he just kept getting away with it because he was, like, every historical document indicates this was a charming son of a bitch who just had a power over people. And Kerr, again, it is wild when you're in his presence, how quickly you can start laughing, you can start smiling. But that's also where, again, man, you need some discipline if you're a media professional. You cannot let the charm offensive sway your coverage. And sadly, that is happening on the reg, man. It is wild. It is absolutely wild.
I want to know where Timmy K is at. He hasn't released a podcast recently because he really, when they won that Bulls game and there was a 5 days off before the Minnesota game, and I'm still ready to talk about that Minnesota game. Woo, boy, did that guy go on a media tour. He went on 95.7 The Game. He had Kerr on his podcast. He went on Lightyear's podcast, and he said, quote, "Those guys are great podcasters. They really know what they're doing," end quote. And, he really went on a media tour talking about Steve Kerr's system is working and Jonathan Kuminga is not a good player and he shouldn't be playing. And it's after a Bulls win that they shot the lights out. And are the Bulls still in the NBA? That was my reaction to that game.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And on top of that, I keep keeping an eye out on Kerr every time he brings up last year's 23-7 run when they traded for Jimmy Butler. Like last night's show, I went through it twice. Who the Warriors played those final 30 games. It was a joke of a stretch of a schedule. And yet that's like Charlotte's name's mentioned repeatedly. Brooklyn's name is repeated in that. The Kings, the Spurs without Wemby, the Mavericks without Luka. Like the amount of those 30 games, I'd say 25 of them, the Warriors were heavy favorites for good reason. The competition was asinine, man. Like you had the Knicks sprinkled on there twice. You had the Nuggets sprinkled on there twice. And I think you had one Rockets game and there was something else. It's crazy that Steve Kerr has
And honestly, the good teams like the Knicks and the Nuggets that they faced that in that 30-game run that they beat them, it's because there wasn't a scattering report on the Jimmy Butler version of the Warriors. So he was like foul grifting 15 free throws a game. So that's why they won those games. And you're not going to do that now. Like it's not that hard to put a power forward and a center on Jimmy, and he's going to pass to Pods, who's not going to shoot. And the scouting report's out. So I don't really. It's pretty easy to see. I mean, me and the cousins were calling it out as it was happening. Like it's not that hard to see. So it's a total dereliction of duty from the front office and Steph Curry that they thought that those 30 games meant that was the lesson, that they just needed to get to the playoffs healthy. And based on those 30 teams, they're a championship team. Total dereliction of duty. Everybody needs to be fired. It's done.
It's unfortunate. Let's hear from Stephen Curry following last night's game, and then we'll talk about that Timberwolves game, where again they did not have Anthony Edwards. I think the Warriors sat Steph out in that game. I think. Did he play that game? Steph?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay, shit. That's all right, and they still lost. Well, here was Steph after.
Now you're making me.
No, good. Yeah. We'll touch on that in just a second. But here is Steph last night because. And this is important. There's also a question in the chat from Curry Flurry as well, saying, do you think it's time to blame Curry for protecting Kerr? Yes. We are at that point. Let's listen to Steph from last night's game where he was somewhat despondent. How can he not be? That game sucked. I wonder if he was holding his gut. Did you see the bloody nose at the beginning of the game too? Like the whole like Steph is just, dude, he's getting old, man. This is sad. And yet you have Steve Kerr, like you said, just rolling him out there, treating him like he's still 28 years old. It's insane. Anyways, here's Stephen Curry.
There's just moments where you're playing well enough, and then you have a bad 3 minutes, and teams just take advantage of it. We ran into some nights where teams are shot way above their averages. That's how it goes in the league. And again, if you're going to be a good team, you're able to overcome all of that. We're obviously not a good team right now because what our record says and the fact that we found ourselves in these kind of positions. I do like the fact that it's challenging us and giving us a sense of urgency. Some years you learn these lessons while you're winning, and then it catches up to you. But if we're going to do anything relevant this year, feeling this pain right now and searching a little bit could be a good thing if we do something about it. So that's the moment we're in right now.
Yeah, the Suns have done this to a lot of teams, so they just came back from 20 against the Lakers the other night.
Yeah, but the Lakers worked out with a win, so yeah, we got to be on the other side.
All right, we got to go catch.
All right, so that was Stephen Curry. Your thoughts, Armando, on his words? Not much really revealed there, other than a bunch of cliches. Learning.
I compare it to last December when they were playing, and his tone last December. I mean, people have goldfish memory, but they were losing really badly with playing Dennis Schroeder and Brandon Podjemski at small forward, and they were losing really bad, but Curry's tone was like hopeful, like he's like, we just got to get healthy, we got to get Kuminga and Draymond and get to like reduce the rotation down from 12 to 8 or 9, like we just got to get there, and never. So he was like, there's a move we can make. That was the move, was that they just needed to reduce the rotations. And to Steve Kerr's credit, people kept getting injured, so it was hard for them to get to 8 or 9. And they were losing really badly, but they had that in their back pocket. And these comments are different. These comments are soul-searching comments. These comments are like, laughing at the moon comments, that, when you're a little too drunk and, you're trying to figure out what's going on in your life comments. And, it's really despondent. And, man, if the Suns win, what? And if the Mavs win on Christmas Day, is a coach really going to be able to survive that, Cy? Like,
I don't know. That's
really?
I'm riveted by what's going to happen here. Like, I don't know how Kerr can just stay in the position. Like, what if the Warriors, like in February, are like 17-25, like some record? Like how does Kerr keep his job? I don't get any of this. I don't get it. I really don't get how Steve Kerr is Teflon here. And I don't know if Joe's just afraid of him. I don't know if Joe's afraid of ruffling the fan base. I don't know if Joe's afraid of ruffling Steph. I don't know if Joe's just an enabler. I have no clue. And, I really want to get Bob Myers on the show because I feel like he'd know better than anybody. And again, the standings, the Warriors currently 9th in the West, 13-15, just game and a half ahead of the Portland Trailblazers, who are in the 10th spot. The Dallas Mavericks, who you mentioned, the Warriors play them in 6 days on Christmas. The Mavericks are just 2 games back of the Warriors. Oh, my God. Same with the Jazz. The Utah Jazz are just a game back of the Warriors in the loss column. That's insane.
Portland's coming for the Warriors. Memphis is really is settling down. And I called it out in the summer. They got the pick in the draft, Cedric Howard. That guy is a real motherfucking G. And
Bay Area guy,
right? Is he? I'm not sure.
I think
he's got like a 7-foot whatever wingspan, like that guy, man. And they're gonna get it together. Like they were just struggling because that they weren't really prepared to play, and there's a little bit of power struggle going on with the coach and the best player, but they are coming. And the Suns are up there. The Suns will probably fall because I do believe they need to tank, but those players have a lot of pride with Dylan Brooks leading the way. And, I don't really see it getting much better. I mean, Curry is, Curry's not going to be healthy the rest of the season. It's coming. I mean, it's good. They're riding his ass hard, man. This is worse than I've ever seen it. Sai, before it gets out of my mind, I got to talk about this Timberwolves game because that's the game when I'm like, man, this is
we could wrap up after this. Yeah.
This is not a championship thing, guys. So like, the game was close at halftime, right? And everyone was praising Steve Kerr at halftime. And what I saw was if you watch a game with a fatigue meter, Naz Reid is like standing straight up like a zombie on defense, just allowing Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield back cuts, not giving a effing ass. And Julius Randle is just walking up, taking 2 dribbles and just chucking it off 1 foot, not giving a effing ass. And the Warriors players were trying DEFCON 1 playoff Game 7 mode just to keep up with their 3-4 guards. Like being driven into the ground and making shots, and the game was close. And then the fourth quarter came, and it was winning time. And everybody was talking about after the game how the Warriors would have won if the role players just made their wide open threes. Well, at halftime, me and my cousins looked at each other and we said, the Warriors are going to miss all of their shots in the fourth quarter because they are so fucking tired in that first half. Excuse my language. I'm pretty lit here. And it was predictable. It was obvious they were going to miss those. That is the system they have. It is a fatigue system. It is run, pass, get a 3-pointer that the other team just walks up and takes with low fatigue. It was a low fatigue offense for anybody playing against the Warriors, not just the Timberwolves. It's low fatigue. You don't have to think when you're playing against the Warriors. And they went on a 20-0 run or whatever, and they let him back in the game because it's just whatever. And they won. And I believe he played for a 4-guard defensive lineup, and they gave up like the defensive rebound or something like that. I can't remember, but I'm trying
to find the box score of that game right now, just so I can see the specific fourth quarter lineups, because that information would be, I'm finding it. I will find it in just a second.
And the reason I highlighted chat is because the Warriors had 5 days off before that, and they were coming off that Bulls, feeling themselves win. And they might as well, would the national team from Puerto Rico beat the Bulls? I don't even know. And they really built that up for like one of their statement games. Steph went for 40 in that game.
Yeah, 39.
And not only that, chat, it wasn't just that Ant was injured. Their top 3 guards were injured. Mike Conley was out, and then Bones Highland got injured in the first minute of that game. So they were playing.
Rob Dillingham was their main ball handler that night.
Yeah, and that guy, I'm sorry, but that size in the NBA it's not winning ball. He might be an NBA player, but it's not winning basketball when you're that small nowadays.
Unless you play the Warriors.
Unless you play the Warriors. Like Brandon Career Night Podziemski is the new nickname, and it ain't his career night that's referring to. And so like it's really, really bad. That Minnesota game was the nail in the coffin. It's the nail in the coffin, and I can't believe they don't see it.
Here is the box score. I'll share this with the YouTube audience, and for the podcast audience, I'll try to articulate as clearly as possible. This is the fourth quarter of that Minnesota game. It represents all the minutes, and the Warriors were outscored 39-29. I'm trying to align this up best possible. So few things stick out here. One is Podziemski played 6 minutes and 20 seconds, and the team was outscored by 17. I now remember that. Remember that 17-0 run that Minnesota went on in the fourth quarter? Pat Spencer. This was for a very brief moment, thanks largely to that Bulls game and the Cavaliers game. Remember, Pat Spencer was the the man of the hour. And he actually got a start. And then, he went 0 of 3 from deep in that fourth quarter, and he was part of that 17-0 run. He had a -11 in net rating. But you look at the three-point shooting in that fourth quarter. So Pat Spencer was 0 of 3. They just didn't even put up a lot of threes in that fourth. I mean, Steph was 3 of 4. Moody was 1 of 2, and that's it. So it wasn't. I mean, it was just like what I remember from that was just the Minnesota Timberwolves were eating the Warriors on the inside. I mean, Rudy Gobert in that fourth quarter, 12.6 rebounds in the fourth quarter.
Do you guys
not the whole game?
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, 12.6 rebounds. DiVincenzo, 10 points, 2 of 3 from deep. Naz Reid hit a 3, had 4 points and 2 boards. Yeah, it's so obvious what the issue is.
Do you guys remember in that game? It was either Naz Reid or McDaniels that
Hobbits. Yeah.
Brandon Podziemski was guarding him on the wing, and they were dribbling the ball up in the I think it was McDaniels. I can't remember, one of the wings. And he sees Pods guarding him, and then he looks at his team, and the team just clears the side out. And then he takes 2 dribbles, he spins, and he literally lays the ball up on top of Brandon Podziemski's head, as if there wasn't anybody there. The amount of times in that game when the Timberwolves wings just took 2 dribbles and got a layup in a half-court setting with 0 resistance. It's just 2 points to the average viewer. But when we watch, that is just low fatigue offense. That means you can just play that much harder later on. And that's when we just knew what that fourth quarter was going to be like. And I mean, it's so sad watching them play, dude.
It is sad. It is sad,
man. And when you guys watch Podziemski, is it really entertaining to you guys?
No, I was literally just thinking, and I was going to ask you that because you do these not always, but often you do these watch parties where you and the cousins are basically filling in as broadcasters on your YouTube channel. Sprewell Was Right is the name of the show, and you could it's tagged in our YouTube description if you want to find it specifically there. But I was going to ask you this, Armando, and I know this has nothing to do with the product, and there are other teams that are actually very successful who are not necessarily that fun to watch. The OKC Thunder, I feel like, are a perfect example of this. They're on pace to break the Warriors' wins record, but they are in no way, shape, or form entertaining to watch like the Warriors were. It's just it's very fundamental, and they execute borderline perfectly, but it's kind of boring. And the Warriors, I'm with you. It's not even fun to watch. Podziemski's not a fun watch. Let me rephrase that.
I'm having
Podziemski can't, there was a game way earlier this season when the Warriors played the Sacramento Kings. And let me pull up the schedule so I can provide that exact game of the season. It was the 6th or 7th game of the year. Kerr had decided to bench Steph, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. It was a load management decision. And so the Warriors youth had a chance to play. And I thought they played great. It was actually a really fun game to watch. I was certainly entertained. The Warriors ultimately lost that game. This was the 9th game of the season. They lost 121-116. This was the night when Will Richard put up 30 points. Same Will Richard who's getting DNP'd now inexplicably. I don't remember Buddy Hield getting anywhere near 30 points all season. He had buddies ahead of Will Richard in the rotation. Make that make sense. But this was a night where, again, even though you had the veterans sitting out, I thought Podziemski played great, and he actually looked like a competent NBA player playing his natural position. Podziemski finished that game with 14 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Kuminga played 36 minutes that night, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Moses Moody had 28 points that night, 6 of 11 from deep. And then I brought up Will Richard already. My point is, there is a version of this that can be both fun to watch and successful on the court. But Steve effing Kerr, man, it always just comes back to Kerr. Always. Anyone can sit here and pretend that maybe the issues with the roster, maybe the issue, like it's Steve Kerr. Even though they lost that game, I felt so good about this team, and Podziemski was utilized properly. And then very next game, you see Podziemski playing the 2-guard position again. You see him being forced to be the team scorer. Kuminga's getting DNPs. Moses Moody is struggling. I don't know what's your take on Moody, by the way? He has not had a good month of December. And even though Steve Kerr made this supposed commitment to the current Warriors starters, with Moody being the starting 2, something tells me that commitment is not going to last. I could be wrong on that. What's your take on Moses Moody lately, though? Because his shot has not been falling.
It's the same thing I've been saying, Cy. Like when you play 3 guards and you're having to play your ass off just to stay in the game. Like Moses Moody at the 3 is undersized. That means he's playing harder than he should. And when he plays the power forward, he's totally overmatched. So that means your legs are tired. That's why you don't hit open shots. It's all connected. Play Moses Moody at shooting guard next to wings, and he's going to be knocking down shots. That means he's oversized at his position. It's so effing obvious. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. 100% agreed. And Armando, keep an eye out. One of the 2 Fire Curry guys, their names are Quidden and Cam, and they were both on together last night. It was awesome. I can't remember which one has harped on this multiple times. My eyes are now going to be focused on this. And according to either Cam or Quidden, I can't remember which one in our audience, they claim that Moses Moody does not have a strong left, and that teams have scouted that, and they're exposing it more and more, forcing him to go left. He's just not ambidextrous the way a Stephen Curry is, even a Kuminga. Kuminga is very ambidextrous. He does not have a weakness going left. I don't know if Moses Moody does. Have you noticed that? Because I'm going to be paying more attention to in future games.
I'll keep an eye out for it. That's
me too. Yeah, I'm very curious to see if that's an accurate scouting report. But
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go on a little run at some point in the season. I'm not sure. I was convinced earlier in the season they would, like, in order to get back to 500 or maybe like 5 games over 500 to like make the play-in. I still think there's a chance for that, Cy. Like when they're all healthy and Steph Curry like averages 35 for like 10 games, and Jimmy Butler's getting foul grifting free throws, 10 a game, and Draymond's healthy during that stretch, like. And maybe they play Kuminga 20, I don't know. What is he playing? Going to play like 10 to 18 minutes? And like maybe they go on a run there where they get back to 500 or they get into the play-in zone, and then there's a little bit of excitement, and Steve Kerr and Tim Kawakami do a little victory lap again. I think that's possible. I always knew that was going to be possible before they went on what I've been calling the go home in a body bag program in the playoffs. But I don't know. I actually don't know anymore if that's in the cards. We'll see.
I don't know. They're going to look for tomorrow, for example. I think the Warriors are going to win that game. I think they're going to come out and likely even cover the spread. And the spread was 5.5 again.
Legend games.
What's up?
They might have legend games. They know it's like do or die. They have to. They might go all out, like Game 7 mode.
Yeah, like I could see a win tomorrow. And again, that brings you to within 1 of 500. John Holmes in our chat, who may or may not be the porn star, saying that Draymond Green leads the league by a few standard deviations in committed per 100 plays at 29%. I don't know what that is, but this hold on. No. You had a previous chat, I think, that had some more that provided more context here, because that is a very incomplete post. Here we go. So Draymond, turnover percentage. He leads the NBA in turnover percentage at 29%. Is that true? That's not a good stat. That's not a good stat, especially considering apparently whoever is second worst is at 23%. That's not good. That's not good.
I already discussed earlier in this podcast about the way Draymond Green's being let out to dry, and his turnovers are due to the 3-4 guard lineups he's playing next to, and that it's the most predictable motion offense in the league.
Yeah,
and it's got it ain't about like that. It ain't like that's like JV. That's like little league coaching. try harder, be more focused.
Hustle.
Like, it's not adapting a system to what you have. And it's not actually doing the work. Like, the NBA is full of geniuses that work hard at their craft and develop new shit every year. Like, we don't have that. We actually have laziness, privilege, and riding on your laurels, your past accomplishments.
I'm showing the standings right now for the audience to see. I don't know how well you can see it. This is courtesy of ESPN, but I'll read it out loud in terms of the important stuff. And for the podcast audience, goes without saying. I'll try to articulate. The Warriors are currently 9th in the Western Conference, 13-15. They're a half game behind the Grizzlies for 8. They trail the Phoenix Suns by 2.5 games for the 7 seed, and then they trail the Minnesota Timberwolves for the 6 seed. What I'm seeing with these standings, though, is a considerable drop-off in talent from 6 to 7. Like, to me, the West, the top 6, I think it's fortified already. Like, outside of a major change by the Warriors, and again, they're going to have to wait until January 15th to trade Kuminga, but what trade is going to magically fix this? I don't know. And until then, you're stuck with this team, and you're stuck with a head coach who keeps playing hobbits and rewarding the Johnny Go hustle guys instead of the most talented guys. Side note, I hate coaches like that. Like, especially when you consider that it's so subjective for a coach to determine which player is hustling the most. It's like, geez, get the hell out of here. So the top 6: OKC 25-2, Denver 20-6, 4.5 games back, San Antonio 20-7. The Lakers 19-7, the Rockets 16-8, and then the Minnesota Timberwolves at 17-10. And then there's a drop-off. Like, to me, there is a stark contrast between the talent that Minnesota has and the talent that Phoenix has. And the Warriors are below that. The Warriors are below the Grizzlies, who I think it's a steep drop-off by that point from Minnesota to Memphis. This is embarrassing. Like, and this is where we talked about earlier in the show, like what is the threshold for Joe Lacob finally pulling the trigger on a coaching change? I don't know, but like I feel like we're pretty damn close to that position now. Armando, what's your take on the standings? Because they don't look good. That's the most depressing part of this whole season to me is where the Warriors are.
That's what I was saying earlier. Is like I was saying Memphis and Portland are coming for the Warriors. I mean, it looks like Memphis is already came. So I don't know if they'll fall below 10 because all of those teams below them are actually tanking. They're the worst team in the league that's actually trying to win.
Oh.
That, like, think about that. They're the worst record of any team that's actually attempting to win. They're playing their ass off every night and they're losing. Like, the teams they're facing are just like, they're going to tank this year. And they're losing those games. So think about it. I mean, think about it for 5 seconds. The narrative has not caught up with the reality. It's just taking some time.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything I missed in the chat. Curry Flurry. Well, Riz in the chat's asking what changed from a team that was filled with wings who can defend and shoot. It's the coach. I think the team still has an army of wings. They're just not being played. Like Will Richard is a wing. Jonathan Kuminga is a wing. And they don't get minutes. And it's not just that. Guy Santos, wing. Dude gets like 6 minutes a game. It's
the issue there. Riz, the issue is that they're not being played together.
That too.
It's Guy Santos or Kuminga. It's Will Richards or Moses Moody. It's Moses Moody or Kuminga at the 4. Like, they're not being played together. They're playing with 3 guards always. That's the issue.
And it's the worst guards. It's typically Pajemski. GP2 was the 6th man off the bench last night, which was insanity. Buddy Hield is usually out there. When Pat Spencer is available, we oftentimes saw lineups with Pat, Pajemski, and Buddy and Steph. It's madness, man. This is absolute madness. I do not understand how people can still be complacent about Steve Kerr. I don't get it. I don't get this at all, man. Yeah. What world are we living in? It's like the the insane have taken over the asylum type thing. Curry Fleury has a question for you, Armando, as we start to wrap it up here, saying, what is your sociological take? This is, I'm fascinated to hear your answer on this. Curry Fleury, one more time, asking, what is your sociological take on the power dynamic within the Warriors organization? Professor.
You know what, Curry Fleury? Honestly, we don't have enough data. That's like me and Cyrus have been going on about this. Like, what is actually, we know there's clear evidence that there's a power struggle between multiple aspects of front office, coaching, and players, but they're not on the same page. There's clear evidence of that, but we don't know exactly what the contours of the conflict is and why certain parties have power over the other.
Yeah.
We don't, and that, like, why, what is it that Kerr has that they need? So it's a total effing mystery. And I think Cy is, just like me, committed to actually trying to get more data on it. Like, we just don't know. It's freaking weird.
And the research, when you say data, is likely going to be far more qualitative than quantitative in this case. But I'm with you in that I've been trying for 3+ years. And folks, if you believe in a higher power or some sort of unexplainable energy in our universe that you can pray to or hope for, send it this way. And what I mean by that is send it to my phone, because I'm going to text Bob Myers in the next 24 hours with an interview request. I haven't done that, I don't think, ever. Let's hope for that, because I feel like the answers are with him.
Yeah.
Like, Bob Myers would know exactly what's going on. I'm gonna try. I highly doubt he's gonna say yes, but I'm gonna try. Send the energy that way, so it becomes a reality. On the schedule tonight, before we go, let's see what's on the docket. Again, the Warriors play the Phoenix Suns tomorrow at Chase Center. We're gonna go live, obviously, Saturday Night Live, coming to you here on Golden Days. On the docket tonight, we have a few matchups. OKC and Minnesota are playing right now. Miami and we had some finals. We have finals already? Sorry, it's only 7 p.m. Armando, you mind doing a quick scoreboard check before we go?
Sure.
All right. We rarely do this on a non-post-game show. Let me get the music. I'm sorry. I can't resist. Steve Kerr.
Fuck you.
All right, let's these lineups, dude. And his ego. It's like, Armando, I don't know if I've told you this. Like my mom, love you, and she watches every show, and she was like, doesn't Steve Kerr seem like a nice guy? Like, why are you so critical of him? And I told my mom, like, nice maybe, but do you not sense the ego? And then she immediately was like, yes, yeah, I get it. It's the ego. Just the ego's toxic. And there's
grandma denture coaching is what I call it.
Say again?
Do you guys know that? Do you remember that your grandma, the meme where she says what, W-A-T? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yes. Does that kind of look like Steve Kerr when he's coaching? What?
Yes.
When he's begging for ref calls, you know, when he's begging for it, he's like, what?
His prayer hands. I cannot believe he tried to scapegoat officiating last night. Why don't you scapegoat yourself with that ridiculous 5-player lineup you put out there to play defense and grab rebound? The defense part worked. The rebound part, not so much. You need a little size.
They're about to lose by 10 before Dylan Brooks got that flagrant foul. That shit was. They were so undermatched.
That was crazy, man. I finally looked at all sorts of replays because when we did the show last night, I did not get a good look at it. I thought maybe it was an elbow. He just kind of like whacked him with like his forearm or the side of his hand, or just right in the gut.
Best thing that ever could have happened to Steve Kerr. They almost won because of that. Like, they were about to get embarrassed.
You're right. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy, and it just whack, and Steph's like down on the ground. I did not. Part of me was wondering if Steph was selling it also a little bit, because he looked he should. Like, I don't know if it was that big of a blow, but anyways, in the association tonight on a Friday. Happy Friday again, folks. December 19th. Jesus Christ, time's flying. Can't believe this year's almost over already. One game currently going on. I'll get to that at the end. Final earlier tonight, the Boston Celtics. Armando, I feel like the Celtics are a great case study for how to adjust when you lose a key player, because they improved to 16-11 tonight after beating the Miami Heat 129-116. Derek White, 33 points, 6 assists, 4 blocks in the win. Khalil Ware, 24 points, 14 rebounds in the loss for Miami, who drops to 15-13. Do you have any thoughts on the Celtics, who are definitely overachieving? And usually when a team overachieves, that's where you credit the coach.
No,
or not.
No thoughts.
I don't know.
No thoughts.
Jaylen Brown, who's having an MVP campaign this year, added 30 points in this one. He's been playing some fantastic basketball. Final in New York at Madison Square Garden, the Philadelphia 76ers. This game was on Prime. Prime's coverage, by the way, kudos. I really like Amazon Prime's NBA coverage. The Sixers beating the Knicks 116-107. Tyrese Maxey, 30 points, 9 assists in the win. A healthy Mitchell Robinson, 21 points, 16 rebounds in the loss for the Knicks, who dropped to 19-8. Philly improving to 15-11. The San Antonio Spurs improving to 20-7 on the year. They defeated the Atlanta Hawks, who are now 0-2 since Trae Young came back. The blowout, 126-98 in Atlanta. Jalen Johnson, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists in the loss. Victor Wembanyama, 26 points, 12 rebounds in the win. Armando, the Spurs, I envy them, dude. And it's not even the Wemby part of it. I mean, Wemby is obvious, right? I mean, he's a freak of nature. He's going to be special. Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle.
Fuck you.
Yeah, Spurs.
Oh, hey, F you.
Dylan Harper is the man. He's looking good.
And in case you're wondering, was Dylan Harper playing in those 2 games where Steph dropped 49 and 46? No, he was out. Something tells me it might have been a different result otherwise. Finally,
you got to tank. You got to tank if you want to have any semblance of winning ball in the next 8 years. You've got to get in the top 4 pick now if you're a true Warriors fan.
I can tell you this with certainty: the Warriors want to blow it up. Like Lacob said in that email, it's complicated, but I don't know why it's still complicated with Steve Kerr. I promise you this, and Armando, I don't know if you agree with me on this or not, but I feel 100% certain that if you replace Steve Kerr, Stephen Curry's going to be okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's a grown-ass man. He's going to be fine. He doesn't need a babysitter coddling him 24/7. That's it. That's all I want to say.
This is one of the best drafts ever.
Ever. Yeah,
Ever.
Coming up. You're right. The Bulls, speaking of horrible basketball teams, they actually won tonight, 136-125 over the Cavaliers. Nikola Vucevic, 24 points, 15 rebounds in the win. Darius Garland, 35 points, 8 assists in the loss for a Cavs team that drops to 15-14. Any theories? The Bulls, by the way, improved to 12-15. Any theories on what's gone wrong with a Cavaliers team that had insane expectations that are certainly not being met?
No, overrated.
Grossly overrated, yeah. Currently right now, I think is this game on Prime? I don't know if it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so you can watch this on national TV. The Thunder visiting the OKC Thunder visiting the Minnesota Timberwolves, but the game's in the first quarter, so no point in getting into that. The Thunder leading 25-17, and that's a wrap. Any final thoughts from you, brother?
No, man, I had fun.
Always
I
fun.
let it fly today.
Always fun.
I was excited, as you guys could tell. Yeah. I don't know, chat. What do you guys think? Christmas Day. What's the record? Can we get some predictions in the chat? What's the record on January 1? Let's pull up that schedule. What's the record, guys?
I wanted to do something. I'll do that in just 1 second. What I wanted to look up real quick is what the current OU is for the Warriors in terms of wins and losses this year. In other words, Armando, I'm gonna put you on the spot. And the bookies don't often have this line. It's available right now, but a lot of times the Warriors line is not published because even the bookies have no clue what to make of this team. The last time I looked at the Warriors OU, it was 45.5. It peaked at 51.5 earlier this season. If you got in on that with the under, you've already won. Congratulations. What is your guess for what the over-under is for Golden State Warriors wins currently?
What do I think it should be, or what do I think they're doing in order to attract Bay Area money?
What do you think FanDuel is listing it as?
Okay. So it was at 45 last you checked. When was that?
45.5, yeah.
When was that? When did you check?
About a week ago.
Yeah, probably 42, 43. 43.
And I did the math, by the way. A week ago, they had to have gone 33 and 22 in order to reach that mark.
Oh, wow. Oh, so no, maybe it's 40, 41, maybe.
So what's your guess? I'm sorry?
41. Yeah.
All right.
40,
so FanDuel's OU on wins right now. It's still 45.5.
Oh.
Bet the under.
See, to me, that is them trying to just get Warriors money.
Yes.
Yeah. Bay Area money.
Now, in terms of the schedule, you said you wanted to look at the schedule through the end of the year, right?
Yep.
At the end of the calendar year, which is about 2 weeks away. So the Warriors have coming up. I'll just read it out loud. There's no visual going to be attached to this. The remaining games. So the Warriors have 6 remaining games in 2025. The upcoming schedule is home against Phoenix tomorrow, home against Orlando Monday, home against the Mavericks Christmas Day, and then starts a road trip that should be easy, but who knows? At Toronto, at Brooklyn, at Charlotte. And then, oh boy, does shit get real after that. But those are your 6. Your thoughts?
I see 2 miracle games that they're going to win. So I want to say 2 and 4. So,
well, let's break it down real fast. Phoenix tomorrow, a win.
Miracle win.
Okay, miracle win. I'm with you on that. All right. Home Monday against Orlando.
Win. 2 wins.
You think they beat Orlando?
They're home, right?
Yeah.
It depends how hard they have to work on Saturday.
Because they lost at Orlando, in case you missed that game.
Okay, so of those 3 games, Phoenix, Orlando, Mavs, they're gonna go. I think they'll go 2 and 1.
Okay. So yeah, makes sense. And then what about? Because I don't think they're going to beat Orlando. I think Orlando's the type of team that the Warriors are not built for with Steve Kerr's preferences, meaning these 4-guard bullshit lineups that ain't going to fly against the Magic. They're going to eat that up. And the way he's handling players like Richard and Kuminga with the like how are these guys going to ever get timing down and rhythm when you're not even playing? So I don't think I think the Orlando game's a loss. That's my prediction. You say win?
Well, if it's a loss, then they're definitely going to win against the Mavs, is what I'm saying.
Definitely.
2 and 1.
So you think Cooper Flagg is going to – who's going to stop Cooper Flagg?
I just think it's the games are related how much fatigue they spend. So if they lose that game, they'll be hungry and it'll be a Christmas Day miracle.
Fair. And then what about the 3 road games? At Toronto, I predict a loss there. At Brooklyn, at Charlotte, I predict wins there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't know, man. So that's
3 and 3?
Yeah, I guess that's 3 and 3. Yeah.
You said 2 and 4 originally. Are you sticking with 2 and 4? Or?
Yeah, no, you talked me into 3 and 3.
All right. Tracy in her chat. Golden Days are relatively new. I appreciate you. I really do.
Tracy.
Asking, do you promise to be on within 60 minutes of Kerr getting fired? I hope for January 1st or later. If I'm home when that happens, it ain't going to be 60 minutes. It'll be 10. But if I'm not home, I can't promise anything. It just depends on when I'll put it this way. The moment I learn about it, everything in my life is dropped. I'm looking for celebratory music, and we're having a party. Hell, I might even try to find a location to have an in-person party. It'll be that much of a celebration of a positive news day. That happens.
Tracy, if that happens, I'm going to put my own money down to help Cy rent out a bar for us to have an event with Golden Dazers to come through and celebrate and have a live podcast. And we're going to get the media there. And it's going to be a celebration of all celebrations, man. It's going to be so much fun.
We'll find a spot maybe in Berkeley or the East Bay or something like that. I'll make the drive. I don't care. And then Kepik, who really wanted his voice heard, I hope you're happy, in all caps, saying Steph needs to tell Lacob to fire this B word, Steve Kerr. So there you go. People are frustrated. I feel ya. Look how angry Kepik was. He's like, respond to my messages. Listen to me. We heard you. Love you and love everyone else. Are we done, Armando? Did we cover all the bases?
That's good, man. I'm gonna go get a steak. It'll be nice. I'm kind of hungry.
When you say you're gonna get a steak, you're gonna buy a steak and not cook it yourself?
No, I'm gonna go to a restaurant and eat a steak.
Okay, all right. So, what restaurant is your go-to for a steak?
Oh man, you guys, Alameda. I go to Park Street Tavern on Park Street. Those guys really get it in, man. They're a Greek family, but it's Americana food, beautiful bar. If you're ever in town, go check it out. Tell them I recommended you. Go see it. It's not cheap, but it's good people there. And there's regulars, and it's a very beautiful place. So I recommend that. Mm-hmm.
It's called Park City Tavern. Is that right?
Park Street Tavern.
Park Street Tavern. My good buddy out there, Connell Letourneau. Let's go meet there for a steak dinner because he loves Alameda. He always brings that place up for grabbing drinks and stuff. So Park Street Tavern. I'm all in, man. And Armando, if we make that happen, I'll reach out to you to see if you want to come too. Yeah. So thanks everybody. I appreciate you all. Armando, thank you. People can follow you one more time on Threads at Mando_man10. People can also subscribe to your YouTube channel, Sprewell Was Right.
We got 2 videos coming up. I've been lagging. We recorded 2. We recorded the Portland game, and then we recorded a different one, but it got demonetized, so we held off on that.
Dude, I had that guy Awful Coaching on, and I really do believe that a certain amount of YouTube creators got in at the right time because Awful Coaching, Donald Hainsman. Did you see that episode, by the way?
Yeah.
Dude just hates everybody in the NBA. It's fun. It was entertaining, but the conversation, the discourse is very limited when there isn't like there are no highs and lows. It's just one. And I also get it. I get his frustration. Like, he's not wrong. It's just, but there's got to be levels to this. You got to have some coaches have got to be a little better than others, so you can make a more compelling argument. With that said, I think he just got in at the right time by launching his channel around 2020, because I do remember reading stories about the NBA just giving a pass to certain accounts to let them get away with publishing highlights and so forth. And I do not enjoy that privilege at all. And every time I try to play anything that's a basketball highlight on the show, I get an email the moment the show ends from YouTube, copyright, and it tells you who sends it. It's usually the NBA. The NBA just doesn't want me to do that. So anyways, Riz, thank you for the compliment about the hat. Available on our store, which is on our YouTube page. The shop is open. Got some cool stuff. Otherwise, Armando, as always, awesome, brother. Enjoy your steak, dude. I know I want a steak. I'm gonna go get some steak. Enjoy. We'll see you next week, brother. Have a good game tomorrow night. Hopefully the Warriors win.
Yep. All right, Si. Take care.
These guys. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.